Hey y'all, welcome back to another banging video, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing with y'all pharmacy tech pay, okay? And we're just going to go ahead and get straight into it because I posted a TikTok, all right? By the way, if you're not following my TikTok, I suggest y'all check it out. I just do a lot of like either helpful or like mukbangs on there, different content. But I posted this one video in which I talked about the pharmacy tech pay at Publix, and then I did one in comparison to like Walgreens and Walmart, which I'm also familiar with their pay as well. And I've had so much like controversial comments and people, doing too much, and then people agreeing, and then people saying, their type of pay, and that, oh, that's too little or that's too much. And like, I just thought I would do a video in which I expressed everything and really just like broke it down for y'all. Okay, so I'm not even in my uniform. I was gonna do this in my uniform one day when I got off work, but it almost seemed like a pressing factor for some of y'all, so I was like, let me get on camera and discuss it. All right, and I might turn this honestly into like a little podcast type moment because it's really something I feel like a lot of my viewers wanted to see me talk about, and I'm going to talk about it, okay? So before we get started, if y'all could please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, I would truly appreciate it because we're on a road to 10K. Let's get it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into it. I'm a pharmacy tech at Publix, and I think that when I switched, which by the way, if you want to hear my story on how I went from a bagger and cashier into customer service associate and then into the pharmacy, then make sure y'all check out that video. I'll try to link it up here. If not, it'll be at the end of this video. I'm pretty sure I titled it like my pharmacy story or something along those lines, and I explained everything there. But basically, when I transferred into the pharmacy, a lot of people thought like I got a promotion, that I was making a lot more money, that I was doing so much better, simply because pharmacy tech sounds bougier or fancier than a bagger, right? And I want to start off by saying it's really, yes, it's better in some aspects, but like pay-wise or things like that, it's not that much of a difference. I know customer service associates and cashiers who were making more than me when I first started in the pharmacy. So it just sounds nice. It sounds fancy. It sounds like, oh, she deals with all those medications and stuff like that. And yes, while it has its perks and it is, I would say a little bit more professional, and it does have, in my opinion, a little bit more like pros and stuff like that, because I would never trade pharmacy tech to go back to being a bagger or a cashier. Also, granted, I'm studying to be a pharmacist, so this is kind of like my passion. But I do want to say, though, like, it was not a promotion, okay? It's just two different positions. It's like, do you want to be the person who folds clothes at, a clothing store? Or do you want to be the person frying burgers at McDonald's? Like what do you want to do? So this was not a promotion when I switched from cashier or customer service to pharmacy. This was simply a like one position to the other, okay? It was just, which one do you rather be doing? The pay was the same, okay? My pay was the same. A lot of people thought I did it at first maybe for the money. The pay was the same. The pay has always been the same. I didn't get no raise when I went into the pharmacy. Across the years and across the time, I have gotten a raise. I do make more money now. But would I probably be making that same amount of money if I would have stayed as a cashier? Yes. Because pharmacy techs in general do not make like a crazy amount. It does vary by state and store. Okay? Because I have people commenting on that TikTok like, oh, I live in Iowa. I live in Texas. Like, well, I live in Florida, and like our pay range is between maybe like $12 to $20 an hour, like $14 to $24 an hour. Like, it's around that. It's not going to be $30, and it's not going to be $8, because I've heard them all. I've heard techs who apparently are making like $27, and then I heard techs that are making like $8. Like, I don't know. I live in Florida. My store is a small store. It's a Publix. It's a neighborhood Publix at that, which means it's even smaller because, granted, if you work in a bigger store, you're probably going to make more money and there's more positions. Because not only do you have to be like a pharmacy tech, some stores that are really busy will hire like a pharmacy tech shift lead, which obviously there's more room to make more money being a leader or a captain or whatever they call it. So I did want to start off by saying that. Currently pharmacy techs, with my experience and around like what I'm making at this moment at Publix, would be $15 an hour. So I know that was like a hot question. Most techs are making around that. I know Walgreens does start you off at $15 an hour for a pharmacy tech, but you know, it is a busier store. Like, it's really just up to you what you're trying to do. I tell people this all the time. If you want to work at Walgreens because they start you off at $15 an hour, there's a bigger sign-on bonus. It's strictly just a pharmacy and medication. Like, no one's ever really like, oh, let me go do groceries at Walgreens. Then go for that. If you rather do Publix because, you know, for example, I was already in the company. The stocks are great. To me, I don't work at Publix for the money. Like, I'm there for the experience, for, you know, like learning, right? Because I do make my money, like the money that I need to get by, I make it elsewhere. So I think that that's really, really like an important thing to talk about and to know, like, what is your end goal with this? Are you here just for the money? Are you here because you want peace? Because obviously if you work at a pharmacy that is strictly just a pharmacy, it's probably going to be a little bit more like hard and not as peaceful. It might be a little bit more crucial on your mental state, on your peace, you know, things like that. So that's something you definitely want to take into consideration. But yeah, right now in Florida, when I first started in the pharmacy, I was as a cashier, customer service associate 2 or 3 years ago. I was getting paid about like $13 an hour. And so when I went to the pharmacy, it was about the same. And then, like I said, it's gone up with my experience, and they give you raises now every year instead of every 6 months. So, you know, that's good, I guess. I do prefer it when it was every 6 months, but they changed it to once a year. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay pay. Pharmacy techs will never get what a pharmacist makes, and rightfully so, but because pharmacists obviously went to all that schooling, and at the end of the day, the responsibility falls on them. But do pharmacy techs do very similar things than pharmacists? Absolutely. Pharmacy techs count the prescriptions, count the pills. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really do the whole slew. There's a lot of techs that can vaccinate as well. They really, really can do just about the same things that these pharmacists can do, except the responsibility doesn't fall on them and they haven't done the same amount of schooling. So, considering it is hard work, and obviously this is something that like someone who's making a lot more money really does, to me it's almost like, if you're not studying to be a pharmacist, then why are you a tech? You get what I'm saying? Because you could really be a cashier probably making more money than some of these techs, and you're less stressed. Why put yourself in a stressful environment where you're dealing with all these medications and a lot of things on the line, only to be getting paid like a cashier? For that, go be a cashier. So I get it though. Like, people who are trying to be pharmacists, you need the experience. You need to be in a pharmacy no matter if they're paying you $10 an hour. And that is why pharmacy techs get paid so low. Because we have a lot of responsibility and we do a lot. But at the end of the day, the companies and the government or whoever is in charge of putting our prices knows that we need the experience regardless if they're paying us $7 an hour. So what do? They're not going to give us what we deserve. They're going to give us less because they know we have to settle with it, because they know we need the experience. But one day it'll pay off when we become pharmacists. But if your end goal is not to become a pharmacist, I don't see why you would be a tech, because you can make a lot more money elsewhere doing an easier job. You get what I'm saying? It just sounds cool. Oh, pharmacy tech. I'm a pharmacy technician. I work inside of a pharmacy. Like, okay, great. But I don't care what it sounds like. Because if at the end of the day I can make more of a bag being, you know, a bagger or a cashier or a customer service associate, or honestly a whole other position, I don't know, then I'm going to just go do that. Like, the only reason I'm in the pharmacy is because I need my experience. I want to be a pharmacist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this for the money, because there's not really that much money in it unless you become a professional inside of, you know, this industry. So that's just my real and raw thoughts and opinion on it. I know everyone's is different. I know, especially like if y'all live somewhere else or work at a different store, maybe your experience is a lot different, you know? And I'm open. I want y'all to share. Like I said, we could talk about it. We can make a podcast about it. But I know it was throwing people off when I was saying the price range here in Florida in my store. When I said that it ranged between like that $12, $13 an hour to like $18 an hour, because that's its range right now. So obviously there's still room for me to even make more as a tech. A lot of people were just like, oh, like, yeah, that's the range. That's what people get paid at my store. Between 12 and 18. If you're a shift lead, you're going to get paid probably between 18 and 22, but that's about it. Nobody's really getting paid more than 22. Pharmacists are getting paid more than 22. They're making 6 figures a year. They do well. And it's something that you probably already know how to do. You know, techs and pharmacists do a lot of similar things. It's not like, for example, I used to work in a doctor's office. I was a medical assistant. But the stuff I did has nothing to do with what the doctor did. If I decided to become a doctor, it's not like I know what doctors do just because I worked in an office. I was dealing with insurances. Doctors deals with patients. As a tech, you're literally almost doing the same thing pharmacists do. You deal with the patient, you hear the same problems, y'all are all on the same computers. Like, I mean, it's the same thing. So it's almost like just follow through and get that studying done to become a pharmacist if you want to really secure a bag. Now, if your hopes and dreams and aspirations are just to become a pharmacy tech, not just to become a pharmacy tech, but, you know, to become a pharmacy tech, that is perfectly fine as well. I don't want to deteriorate you. I just want to open your eyes to what it is, okay? You're doing the same thing as a pharmacist, but you're making a lot less money. And the money you're making, not only is it a lot less, but it's about the same amount that you could be making as a cashier. But it's a different type of stress level and job requirement. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do, all right? Do you want to be more stressed and make less? Or, like, do you want to be, you know, less stressed and making the same, basically? So that's why I recommended in my TikTok video that unless you're studying to become a pharmacist, you don't become a tech. But people blew it out of proportion. People were like, oh, like, what is he talking about? Like, nah, you could be a tech even without wanting to become a pharmacist. I didn't say you couldn't. I didn't say you couldn't. You definitely can. In my opinion, it's not really worth it, but you definitely can, okay? Yeah, even if you're something in the medical field, like even if you're not studying directly to become a pharmacist, I can understand even then if you want to work inside of a pharmacy to gain experience in the medical field rather than, you know, in something that has to do with groceries. Like you want something along the lines of what you're studying. But if you're not studying anything, like I said, that's what was, you know, kind of like throwing me off type shit. Like I was like, all right, like if you really want to be here though, then that's great. I just still like just wanted to like open your eyes. And in Publix in specific, like the company I work at, I did not need to go to school to become a pharmacy tech. I did not need no special schooling. All the trainings were provided in the company that I work for. All the certifications, everything was provided through that. If I had to do something on the side, my manager would let me know if I had to pay something on the side. But honestly, the company itself took care really of like everything. So some people were telling me that as well. Like, oh, you need a certification. You need to go to school for that. What is you talking about? Oh, you're saying that only pharmacists need to go to school? I didn't say all that. All right. Pharmacists have to go to school. I know what it's like to be a pharmacist or like to try to go through that path because I'm going through it. You don't need a bachelor's, but you need an AA. You got to go apply to pharmacy school. You got to be 4 years in pharmacy school and then graduate. You have to take your PCAT. You have to do all these things. And then you become a pharmacist and start, you know, charging accordingly. As a tech, though, most companies will give you that training. You don't need to go to a school. If you're not in a company that can offer this training, then yes, maybe there is a certification course you have to take on the side to get you that certification, and then you can put it to practice at a company. But my experience was through a company, and I know most people do it through companies. So yeah, it's really just, it's up to y'all. It's a personal preference. It's, you know, something that changes and differs according to each person's situation. So that's about it, y'all. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. Like I said, if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, y'all want to share your story down below, go ahead and do so because I'm open to talking about it. I'm open to having this discussion, a podcast, whatever y'all want to call it. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.